So this was me driving on a top speed. I didn't really care about what was happening. I even forgot that I had different slippers. Look, I had my hazard warning lights on and I was just driving like a fast and furious because my main goal was to just get to the hospital and make sure that my daughter gets seen by the doctor. And if you haven't experienced what I'm talking to you about, you would not understand where I come from. But in today's video, I'm going to share with you my experience as a first-time father and what nobody tells you being a first-time dad. So you might want to make sure that you stick around to the end. Let's get started. Hi ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode on the Birth and Beyond. My name is Godfred. Name suggests I'm talking to you about when I was a first-time father. This video is basically to let you know some of the experiences that are common to all fathers. And so if you're new, welcome to the channel. This is Birth and Beyond. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't done that yet. On this channel, we talk about birth and beyond. So you can drop your questions in the comment below. If you've also experienced anything that I'm going to share with you, please make sure you drop in the comments below. And most importantly, share with others. You might be blessing someone. All right. So this was somewhere some couple of years ago when I was so naive. I didn't know about what fatherhood meant. I got married, and as usual, if you get married, the next thing is that you want to try and enjoy, have fun and all that. But my wife and I decided that we're going to give birth, and so yes, we did what everyone who wants to give birth does, and she got pregnant. So yes, we got pregnant, and one of the things I noticed, especially with her, is that she had kind of, she was easily offended with the slightest things. And for me, I was even surprised that some of the things that I did were normal stuff that I used to do even before pregnancy, but well, she took it on a different note. She had like different reactions for different things that happened, and what it meant was that I needed to also kind of update my knowledge on the process, because that was the first time I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know so many things about being pregnant, right? So my initial reaction was also not great because I didn't understand. I got angry initially, but then as time went on, I realized that, oh, okay, this was not her trying to pick on me, but it was her trying to kind of go through the emotions and the hormonal changes that she wasn't even used to, right? So that's just one aspect of it, right? And then the other bit is where, her activity levels dropped because of the pregnancy. She didn't need to engage in certain activities. What it meant was that there was more responsibilities for me. I had to do more in the house. So guys, if you are thinking of getting pregnant and you don't know about it, you should be aware that once your wife gets pregnant or your partner gets pregnant, it means that, well, she's going to drop, especially in the activities that she won't be able to undertake, because that's what is advised. Otherwise, you end up losing your baby through miscarriage and other means, right? And you want to make sure that the baby comes out well. So you don't want to stress her. You want to make sure that you're sticking around. So what it meant was that I went to work, but I'll still come back, make sure sometimes I tidy up the house. And she was, it's not like she was not doing it. She was actually doing it, but because of the doctor's advice that, okay, look, there are certain things that you don't have to allow your wife to do, I had to step in and do all of them. So that's one of the things I need you to pay attention to, that if you decide to go on the route of being a father, you're going to have more responsibilities. That is even during pregnancy, right? We'll come back to after birth. And same time during pregnancy, her appetite changes. For some funny reasons, right? She tends to have some, I would say, unusual or weird appetite. She tends to crave for certain things that ordinarily she wouldn't. Right? And that got me was she could even ask me to buy food some miles away from where we live, because she's tasted it before and she feels like at that point that's what she wants to eat. And then she would jokingly tell me that, oh, this is what the baby wants to eat and all that. And guys, I would go buy this food, come back, give it to her. She tastes a little bit and she tells me, nah, she doesn't like, she likes something else. So that was mentally draining, and it was stressing me. Okay, I didn't know about it, but it was really, really stressing me. And I felt like, why would you do this? Why would you do this? But then I read about it, I learned about it, and I realized that a lot of women go through the same process. All right, so that is also another change that you need to look out for if you are thinking of becoming a father or if you are thinking of getting pregnant. Another thing I also noticed during pregnancy was that now she needed to arrange her stuff in a certain way. It's like she liked to even change positions of some of the things that we had in the house. And I was really surprised. Like, why would you do that? Where is all this coming from? Right? And many a time, because she doesn't have to do all these kind of things or some kind of strenuous activities, if she wants things moved, yes, you need your help to move those things. Alright, so what you can see right from pregnancy is the fact that there's a lot of responsibilities that have been unleashed on men, and it's just what nobody tells you. Right, I go to the market because I had to go. Sometimes she doesn't feel fine. Some women. I even have a friend who was like, she knew a woman when she was pregnant. The woman was in bed right from pregnancy till birth. So for such a woman, it means that as a husband, you get to do everything in the house. So depending on the kind of woman you are with, you might be doing virtually everything in the house, especially if you've not got like house helps. If you have it, that's fine. Or if you haven't got like support from family members. We were living alone, so we had to do everything by ourselves. So that's like kind of the experience that I had during pregnancy. There's that kind of, depending on the woman, on the stage of pregnancy she is, you might also observe like a reduction in sexual activities, because obviously if you're not careful, guys, you're gonna lose the baby. So that way, I think your doctors will even advise that you do it with caution and all that, and having in mind that the woman's body and everything about her has changed. Now let's talk about after birth. It was also another interesting one. Right, so after birth, there's also that responsibility to relax and then be a bit reasonable with her, because after birth, things are returning back to normal, especially with her organs when they've been stretched. And another thing is that you've got distorted sleep. Everything about your sleep is going to change, especially within the first 24 months. If you're lucky and your baby sleeps, then that's fine. But for most babies, they wake up at odd hours to feed. And what it means is that you're more likely to kind of, make sure the baby burps before, you put the baby to sleep. And in such instances, the women really tend to get stressed. So you also want to make sure that you're extending a helping hand. And for me, that's what I did. I had to make sure that, at night, you also wake up, try to help out, because it's very stressful. I'm not going to lie, because it's so stressful for the women. All right. So that's what I did. So what that meant was I didn't have enough sleep, and I had to also go to work as well. And when you come back from work, especially, the woman would have been overworked by the baby, and so you need to also carry the baby, try and make sure that you help us you help as well. And I remember there were times I came home all tired, but I had to carry the baby. And with my daughter, you can carry her and then you think that she's asleep, right? The moment you put her on the bed, yeah, she starts crying, and then you have to carry her again. So there are times that sometimes I even feel sleepy whilst I'm carrying her and all that. Those are like stressful moments that people don't talk about, especially for first-time fathers, right? If you've experienced it before, you can let us know in the comments below. Any other thing you think I might have left out, please drop in the comments below, and then we'll be happy for people to also learn. And the final thing I like to talk about after birth is the fact that you're more likely to also experience some what I call the baby issues. So there will be some temperature rises. It could be that you don't experience it, but what I experienced was that there was a point where she had her temperature go up way above the normal, and as parents, we just didn't relent at all. We had to quickly carry the baby, and that was a point where I never knew I could drive like a Formula One driver. I was just literally on a high speed, guys, with my hazard warning lights on, making some maneuvers that I never thought I was going to make, and all in a bit to get to the hospital to make sure that my daughter gets seen by the doctor. Look, it was not a pleasant experience, and I remember my wife, the anxiety. At that point, I felt that sense of duty, that sense of responsibility, to the point that I felt like if anything happens to my daughter, I would have myself to blame. And jeez, those were trying moments for us. And like, we grabbed our keys and we just rushed to the car. I felt the weight of being responsible for someone's life for the first time, and For me, that was like a watershed moment, and I realized fatherhood is not for the weak. So, guys, I'm sharing all these things to let you know that these are the expectations and the responsibilities. So you don't just give birth. You need to weigh the options, and you need to be prepared. And no matter how much you prepare as well, there are certain things that will take you by surprise, but that's okay. But at least if you prepare yourself mentally, and then you have some sort of expectation about fatherhood, I think it will really help. And that is why, if you haven't yet watched our video on what to do, right, the simple thing to do that will prevent about 70% of problems in pregnancy, please watch that video. I'm going to leave it there.